Hello, folks, and welcome to another edition of Oxwide. Thank you for joining us for an update on developments in Oxleas, including a bit on COVID. Tomorrow is World Mental Health Day, and our aim there is to raise awareness of mental health around the world and to build support for people living with mental health problems. And to mark this, our own Lived Experience Network has today held an online event to promote mental health for all and share their experiences of living health problems and living with mental illness. So please have a look at the intranet and keep an eye on our social media for more information about our World Mental Health Day initiatives. You'll notice today the rest of the panel have followed the instruction to wear green, which is the colour of World Mental Health Day. I should say I'm red-green colourblind, so I'm as close as I can get. It all looks the same to me, red and green, but there we go. Now, next Wednesday, I don't have green clothes as well. You know, with my Scottish pallor, it really doesn't do the best for me. Anyway, but next Wednesday, we'll be holding also Allied Health Professions Day. Saw some great activity from some of our podiatrists yesterday, actually, to celebrate the amazing work of all of our 400 plus allied health professionals in Oxleas. And as part of this celebration, colleagues will be showcasing a day in the life of an AHP, which everyone at Oxleas is invited to. So I'd encourage you to make the most of that. As you know, the number of COVID cases are currently on the rise. Cases within the trust are still in a good position, and I don't think we currently have any diagnosed inpatients with COVID, unless we've had anything throughout the 1 o'clock today, but I haven't been notified of that. And actually looking at our staff absences, they're actually ahead better than usual for this time of year, which I think when you consider in April, May time, we had at points over 350 staff off because they were isolating and working through that process. We're in a better position than we were earlier this year. And I suppose looking to what's going to happen over the next few weeks as we see the case rises in London and the southeast in line with what we've seen elsewhere in the country, we will be facing some difficult decisions about the impacts on our personal lives, the impact on our working lives and so on. But unlike earlier this year, we know what we're coping with here. We know much more about the disease and it's behaving exactly as we'd expect it to. And as an employer and as teams, we know what we need to do to get through the next few months together. So I'd very much encourage you to make sure that you're keeping an eye on the Ox, listening to what we're telling you about, interpreting that broader news and broader uncertainty there. And rest assured that there's a number of us plugged into systems across London to make sure that we're getting all the latest information and keeping the trust well abreast of that. And I know that the testing site we've made available for staff at Queen Mary Sidcup is being well used now. We've got 20 slots available any day for you, for your families as well, because if you have someone in your family who might have COVID, you need to get them tested to get back to work. So we'll keep doing what we can as an employer to support you with information, but also with the kinds of services and support we can to keep as well. So it's going to be a long haul this winter, but we are well prepared. And I'm maybe not optimistic, maybe not the right word, but I feel as though with the work we've done earlier this year and the kind of people and the kind of leaders and managers we've got in the organisation, we're well placed to face the challenges of the months ahead. So next up, we've got we're well into Black History Month, and I hope you've been paying attention to some of the great stuff that's been available to help us find out about Black History Month and what it means to us. And Juliana Frederick-James, chair of our BAME network, is joining us in this programme to discuss what's planned at Oxleas to celebrate Black History. But first, we're going to hear from our fantastic district nurse lead, Melvina Stober, who can't stop winning things this year, I think, and also Jane Wells, our Director of Nursing, about why Melvina was rightly chosen by the Royal College of Nursing as a rising star for Black History Month. So over to Melvina and team.
All the judges were blown away with the quality of the nominations this year. Despite there being a global pandemic and nurses working under extreme pressure, we received more nominations than ever in 2020. The winners were recognised for giving voice to staff and patients, for empowering themselves and encouraging others to act, and for showing compassion, innovation and leadership. A very well done to you all. Congratulations.
On behalf of all of us here at RCN London, a huge congratulations to all the winners of the Rising Star Awards. Well done and keep up the good work.
Hello, I'm Lisa Tan, and today we're catching up with Jane Wells, our Director of Nursing, and Melvina Stober, who's our District Nurse Team Leader for the Woolwich Network. Hi Jane, how am I, Melvina?
Hi.
So today's a special occasion because Melvina has just won a Royal College of Nursing Rising Star Award. Now, this sounds very impressive. And Jane, I wonder if you could tell us a little bit about the award, what it is, what it means.
Okay, every year the Royal College of Nursing invite applications from directors of nursing in London to nominate a special person. And this year I nominated Melvina as our rising star. There's a focus on the Royal College of Nursing on nurses from BAME backgrounds who are showing particular inspirational leadership qualities, particularly around sort of power and voice and presence, and really having an impact on their teams and really promoting patient care. And I nominated Melvina because she's always been a fantastic nurse, but she's been doing some sterling work over the last couple of years, particularly around quality improvement. And I'm really proud of her, and I'm really proud to have nominated her for this award. And I'm really proud that she won it because they were inundated with applications. So well done, Melvina.
Thank you.
Thanks, Jane. Thanks for that. And I must admit, I saw some of the footage that the Royal College of Nursing had put out on the film, and I saw you on there, Melvina, so that you're all over Twitter. It was really nice. I know, it was really good. But I mean, it's an amazing award to receive, I imagine, and it must. How do you feel about it? What's it mean to you?
Oh gosh, I'm just so overwhelmed. I still haven't got to terms with it yet. It means so much more than anyone can imagine. I feel so appreciative for this, and it just shows how much encouragement Oxleas is showing in general towards their staff, and it's really encouraging. Thank you, Jane.
Oh, that's really nice. And you can see by the amount of publicity and coverage that it's getting, it's obviously quite prestigious. We see these each year, and they are quite a big deal to actually win. So, and as Jane said, being inundated, you've done amazingly well to get one. That's fantastic. But I've also heard that you've won another award in QI for one of your projects. So you're obviously on a roll. Can you tell us a bit about that too?
Yes, it was the Quality Improvement Southwest International Conference. I was encouraged again by the QI lead, Jill, to submit at the last hour of the night, and I did. And I was selected to present a poster version of my QI project. So I did presented this poster, last couple of Saturdays ago. And to my surprise, I won the best overall health professional poster. That made me cry. That was fantastic.
Oh, really? Oh, that's amazing. So you're really, at the moment, you are really, really doing well. And you're obviously on a high from it too. That's amazing. So I think everyone would probably agree, wouldn't they, Jane? Melvina's an inspiration.
A rising star.
Yeah, well said. Congratulations, and thanks very much for joining us. Thank you.
Thank you too.
Great film, and congratulations to Melvina there for some fantastic work, actually. And it's a great asset for Oxleas to have people like her and her team working as part of the trust. Now, I'm pleased to say I'm joined now by Juliana Frederick-James, who's chair of our BAME Experience Network, and also Rachel Clare Evans, our Director of Strategy and People. And we want to talk a bit now about the work. We've told you a bit about this before, about building a fairer Oxleas. I'll start off with Juliana. I mean, Juliana, we all know, I hope it's Black History Month this month. Tell us why it's important for us all to be celebrating this.
Well, Black History Month came about in about 1987. Anybody who studied history before 1987 will tell you there was no Black History Month before 1987. And basically, Black History Month was an opportunity for the Black community to celebrate our contribution to the history of this country. And unfortunately, the narrative of British history has an incredible way of just removing us from that. So, for example, everybody who studies the Industrial Revolution can tell you all about all the stuff that people have invented, all of the stuff that we were doing, but nobody can remember where the cotton came from that drove that Industrial Revolution. And they can't tell us how the people who picked the cotton got to where they got to without looking at the history of the transatlantic slave trade. So somehow history is there, but Black history isn't. So Black History Month is an opportunity for us to really just celebrate who we are and our contribution to everything that makes this country as wonderful as it is and as diverse as it is.
Mm. I mean, I studied history, Juliana, and I think you're entirely right that I probably went through my entire period of studying history at A-level and degree and cannot think of the achievements of anyone Black that were drawn to my attention in the course of that entire period.
Absolutely. I mean, I think I did A-level history, and I think modern history allows us to look at the civil rights movement, and that's it. You don't see anything else in terms of what we do in this country and the contributions that we've made from about the 1600s. There have been Black people in this country, so it's an opportunity for that. But hopefully, as time is going on, after this last 6 months, perhaps there won't be a need for Black History Month anymore, and perhaps history will be taught with as wide a spectrum as possible, and our children will be taught about stuff that reflects who they are as well. So we'll see.
I certainly see that.
His A-level history, and it's getting a bit better, but I still think there's a bit of a way to go.
Amen.
Well, I think we have 12 months a year of white history, don't we? So I think 1 month for Black history isn't, we need to redress the balance and raise people's awareness and education through this. And tell us a bit more about what the network's got planned within Oxleas, Juliana.
So this year we are going to be having an event on the 22nd of October. Obviously, this is not our usual annual event. Usually we hang out at the Black Prince Interchange down in Bexley, and we have like 130 people. We all come together, we dress up, we do what we're doing. This year we can't do that. So we're going to be having a slightly pared down event, no food. We'll still get people to dress up. We still expect people to bring their flags on the day, so we can be waving our flags on the day. We'll have an opportunity to look at the extraordinary year that this year has been so far and the major changes that have kind of come at us from all sorts of angles, and look at how we're going to be going forward from that. And I think, I just want to encourage everybody. And there's no limit this year on the number of people who can come, because I don't have a room that I have to fill. You can, as many people as possible can come, so we can go for it this year. Come along and spend some time with us and look at, what it is that we're trying to achieve and what we have achieved so far as well.
And I remember last year we spent quite a lot of time hearing about the experiences of some of our Asian colleagues as well. So this is Black History Month, but it's certainly the BAME network that's involved here. We want to see colleagues from across the spectrum, and also we want to see more of our Black male staff there as well.
They're there.
A lot of our
women are there. They just hide in the back and pretend they're not there. Don't try it. They're there, but they are a bit sparse. We'll keep encouraging. Our men folk, we have to work for them sometimes. We have to kind of encourage them. So we'll do it. Don't worry.
Okay, thanks, Juliana. So people look out on the Ox, find out what we've got involved, and do get involved and support Juliana and colleagues with this, because it's I've been privileged to be part of this for the last 2 years, and it's a fantastic part of Oxleas and something we should all support. And Rachel, this sort of aligns with quite a lot of what we've been talking about Build a Fairer Oxleas as well. So do you want to tell us a bit more about where we've got to with this?
Yeah, the Building a Fairer Oxleas stuff is getting very, very busy. So we spent most of kind of June, July and August with a lot of help from Juliana and her fantastic network, as well as from some volunteers, some BAME volunteers from right across Oxleas, really having a think about the experiences of our staff in Oxleas and what needed to change. So we had quite an intensive listening exercise, and we brought together a massive group of people at the beginning of August. That included the chair, it included our deputy chief executive, it included service directors, executive directors, volunteers, whole host of people, and decided that we wanted to really listen to people's experiences, but we really wanted to focus on two really concrete things that we could fix. And the two things that people decided on was, firstly, that they wanted to improve the fairness of our recruitment and progression procedures. and the second was around improving cultural competence. So since then, we have been heads down in terms of building a really robust action plan to take all of that stuff forward. And it's all getting started now. We're doing lots of stuff around it. And hopefully, my real hope is that over the next few months, things are going to start to feel different in Oxleas. And that real bravery that people have shown, talking about their own experiences, is going to make a real difference.
Yeah, and you and I were privileged enough to talk to Taff, Corey, Michael, a couple of colleagues from the prisons, weren't we, in the last couple of weeks, Rachel? And I think hearing the range of voices from across the trust engaging with us about building a fairer organisation's really come through. And of course, we've launched our plans now for a shadow executive, haven't we, as well? And this is something we want to hear from people about.
Yeah, so just so that people haven't heard about the shadow executive, it's something that quite a lot of innovative organisations do to try and bring a bit of fresh thinking to the senior decision making. So what we're looking for is 12 people who are fairly new to the NHS or new to Oxleas to be part of a shadow executive that looks at all of the papers that goes to the executive, comes up with their own views about what we should be focusing on and how we should approach it, feeding that into you, Matthew, so that you can bring those ideas to the executive, and hopefully we can benefit from that really fresh thinking, as well as giving people hopefully quite a useful development opportunity.
Yeah, I mean, I'd really encourage people to take part in that. I think it's the kind of thing that could, I hope, will be a really significant moment in people's careers, actually, in terms of supporting their development. And for us as a trust and as part of the NHS, change the way the NHS looks, so that actually senior management within the NHS looks more like the people that deliver care in the NHS and reflects that broader range of experiences. And I'd encourage people to get involved. And, if you're not successful this first time, it's going to be there for, it's going to become part of the way we run the trust. And I want people to step forward for that. And Rachel, I think we're looking for some people to take part in a film about experiences in the workplace as well, aren't we, as part of this drive?
Yeah, we've had some really good volunteers because we want to tackle the micro-incivilities or microaggressions, those things that people say that can make people feel really excluded. And often people don't even realise that by saying certain things, it can have really quite a heavy impact on people that weathers them over time. So we just want to help people to understand about these things in relation to our BAME colleagues, but also our lesbian, gay and LGBT colleagues, our disabled colleagues, to just really help people think about the stuff that they say.
Okay, so there's a lot to think about there, but some great opportunities to support Juliana and her colleagues through the BAME network. So look on the Ox and get involved, and also to work with all of us here about building a fairer Oxleas together. And I look forward to looking through those of you who are putting yourself forward for the shadow exec, so you can help us, build a stronger leadership team within the trust and build a fairer Oxleas for the future. Juliana, Rachel, was there anything else you wanted to add?
A quick one from me, actually, Matthew, if you don't mind, just to let people know that one of the bits of feedback that came through the Our Next Step work was that people didn't like our values, and they wanted us to try and design some new ones that were a bit more memorable and spoke to them a bit more as Oxleas colleagues. So we're going to be writing out to people next week to tell them all about that, but I just wanted to let them know that that was coming.
Well, that's great. And as someone who delivers the values in the induction, I can remember them for as long as they're on the screen behind me, but they rapidly fade from memory. So I think we certainly need something that's much more in tune with our workforce and what matters to them. So look, thank you very much to Juliana and Rachel for taking part and also being resplendent in green today. My apologies for letting the side down a bit there. Just to talk now about the staff survey, just to remind you about that, you should have had your emails from the staff survey. It's really important you take part. Tell us about what you're worried about. Tell us about what's good about working for the trust. It really helps us understand your experience of working through this really quite exceptional year in Oxleas. So do make sure you're taking part and having your voice heard, because unless we hear from you, we can't make the changes we need to make this the best possible place it can be to work. So thanks very much for Juliana and Rachel for their huge efforts on this. Now, we have just launched, in addition to the staff survey, we've launched our flu vaccination programme. And colleagues across Oxleas have been getting their protection against flu, something that's vitally important. And remember, it doesn't just protect you, it protects the people you live with, it protects the people you go to deliver care for. We've heard a lot about asymptomatic COVID spread this year. Of course, the flu can spread in the same way through contact from people who don't know they've got it. So if you have your flu vaccination, you increase the ability of us as a population to develop immunity to this, and think of all the anticipation there is for a COVID vaccine. Well, we've got one here that works for the flu, and the flu for some people can be a pretty dangerous prospect, and you certainly don't want to get flu and COVID together this year. So don't miss out on that chance. And I want to say a personal thank you to every member of staff who's taken that time so far to get themselves protected. Now, earlier this week, Theresa May visited one of our flu clinics and met two of our flu champions, Maggie and Kerri. So have a think about how you can get yourself vaccinated while you're listening to what Maggie and Kerri have got to say.
I'm Teresa from the communications team, and earlier today I met up with Maggie Granger and Kerri Rivers-Simpson, who have been at Pinewood House vaccinating people in this year's flu campaign. They've had lots of people through the doors. They're really, really pleased that people are taking this seriously. Here's what they had to say. I'm here with Maggie Granger and Kerri Rivers-Simpson, who have been really busy today with the vaccinations as part of our flu campaign this year. How's it gone, ladies? How's it been?
Well, Kerri's done extremely well today. She's vaccinated 65 people, so that's amazing. Total, we did 75 vaccines of staff today. We've got a clinic for tomorrow at Lodge Hill and another one at the Memorial on Friday. We will be getting over to our Bromley colleagues. Please don't worry, we will find a venue for you. It's going extremely well, and that's on top of all of the roaming that our flu leads are doing as well. So really good start.
Now, I was one of those that actually had my flu jab today with you guys. Thank you very much. I did it this year because I think it's possibly even more important this year that we actually do protect ourselves against the flu as one less thing to worry about. What have been the reactions of people coming for their jabs? Are they keen to have it this year?
Absolutely. At least just today, at least in this clinic, I've had at least 5 members of staff that have never had a flu vaccine before, have come and voluntarily asked for a vaccine. So, there's lots of interest this season, definitely, from people that have never had a vaccine before and people coming back again from previous years. So, yeah, it's been very, very positive.
And is that our clinical frontline staff as well as
Absolutely, yeah. So while I've been out and about doing roaming clinics as well, I've had many more newbies this year for flu vaccines as well. So definitely across the board, I would say.
And how are we off for vaccines this year?
We're actually doing okay compared to some of the trusts in London. We've just sourced our 3rd delivery, so we've got a large number of vaccines back in stock again that we can continue to use. One of the things that we were pleased to see today at one of these clinics was the amount of staff that have attended that are working from home. So we'd like to use this opportunity to say, please look out for one of the clinics, please come in and get your vaccine while you're actually working from home.
And also as well, just to add that we've got plenty of over 65 vaccines as well. So we're available for over 65 vaccines.
Okay, so how can people get their vaccinations easily, simply? Are you going to be out and about more? I think you've got a Jabathon week coming up, haven't you?
Yeah, there's Jabathon week next week, so that's every day somewhere, but all of the flu leads, and ourselves included in that, they will populate the Ox calendar. So just look on the flu page on the Ox, look at the calendar, scroll down, have a look at the calendar, and it will tell you exactly where you'll be able to access a flu clinic. It's not static clinics a lot of the time, it is roaming clinics. It's the best way we can get to our frontline staff.
Okay, and finally, why is it important this year that people do get their jabs?
It's important every year. It's important every year that people get their jab, actually. I think with COVID, it's making people think they wouldn't want to get the flu twice. However, that's not how we promote this flu campaign at all. This is just a normal year where we're promoting seasonal flu in the same way we do every single year.
Absolutely, for staff to protect themselves, protect their family and protect our patients.
So that was great to hear how the flu vaccination campaign is going, and that so many colleagues are having the vaccine for the first time this year. So as I said, I'd encourage you all to to find out what you can do to get access to the vaccine for you, your families and your patients there. So that's all we've got time for this week. As ever, there's plenty of information, whether it's about flu vaccines, about COVID, or building a Fairer Oxleas Black History Month. There's plenty out there on the Ox. So do have a look and see what you can do to get involved. And do remember, tomorrow, World Mental Health Day as well. There'll be plenty of activity on social media around that. It's been a tough year for a lot of us, I think. So if you're out there and worried about you or one of your friends and your own mental health, do have a look, because there are sources of support. And taking that time just to have a conversation and talk about how you're feeling can be a really important first step to getting the help and support you need. And thinking about one or two friends, I might check in on myself, actually, because it's not been the best year for all of us. But we shall come through this stronger, I'm very sure. Now, as you can see, many developments across Oxleas, lots of chances to get involved. So please do play your part. We do really value your contribution. So until next time, goodbye.